Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Tea Time with Tyler again. I am here with a very special guest. Dr. Marie Pinto from Pro Youth is here with us, and she's going to share with us a little bit about some of the awesome stuff that's happening and how, even in the midst of a difficult situation, we are able to use the facility we've been blessed with to really love on kids and provide them a safe place to learn and to be fed. And so we're super excited about that. So Dr. Pinto, thank you so much for joining us. And if you would just start, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about Pro Youth. That'd be awesome.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you for this opportunity. We're honored to be here and be able to, as you said, provide service to our children in the community and to our families. Born and raised, I was born and raised here in the Central Valley. Actually grew up in Tipton-on-a-Dairy and went to school in Tulare. Went through school here, Fresno State. Started my career actually in retail, and then transitioned over, started teaching, and kind of went through the ranks there. I was the assistant superintendent of student services for Tulare for a number of years, and then I tried to retire. I obviously didn't do it very well, but ended up here at Pro Youth. I've been the CEO here for a little over 2 years now. However, my husband and I have been involved with the organization for a number of years. He's a former board member, former past president. I did some training and some consulting with the organization, and so when the opportunity came to be CEO, I jumped in as interim for a while, and after that I was like, I'm not leaving.
Right.
So they had so here I am.
Absolutely.
Pro Youth has been around for nearly 30 years. We're a nonprofit expanded learning organization. We provide primarily after-school programming, and we're in almost all of the Visalia Unified schools, as well as Strathmore, Exeter, Woodville, Oak Valley, Tulare, and King City. So we are normal, when we normally function, we're at about 50 sites with about 18,000 kids.
Wow.
In 7 districts and 2 counties. We serve about 700,000 meals a year, and I have about 330 employees.
Wow.
So we're a big operation, but we're still very rooted in our nonprofit, serving our community.
Right.
Currently, all of my districts are closed. All of my districts are functioning in the distance learning model. And so we knew that we would have to do something to be able to serve our students and our families. And so we are currently offering day camps throughout our districts.
Cool. And I know, just like all of us, right, when the pandemic started back in February, March, it's been kind of a crazy journey. And so if you would just maybe for a little bit tell us, what was that like? I know you used to be in 50 sites and now you're in less. And so how was that process of trying to find sites that would work, and what was that like?
Yeah, it was a little scary. Friday the 13th, school closed.
Right.
And we were actually on site, and we're closed now, and you're not going back on Monday.
Right.
And so it was a little overwhelming, and so we all of my staff worked remotely, all 300 employees. So we did a lot of professional development, online professional development. We had purchased a program, so we were able to keep our staff engaged in doing that. And then that's when the planning started of what program was going to look like when we came back.
Right.
Knowing that we weren't going to come back as normal. And so knowing that most of the districts would come back at a hybrid, for us to be able to do that, we created our day camp model. Worked very closely with our representatives at the county level, Tulare County Office of Education, and then at the state level, the Expanded Learning Division at the state, of what we wanted program to look like, and what flexibility would the state need to give us. I mean, we are a grant-funded, program, but grants have strings, and so there's requirements of what we can and cannot do, and so we asked for some flexibility of being able to offer program during the day, to be able to offer program off-site, because now we can't go to schools. And so we were fortunate enough that Assembly Bill 77 was passed, allowing us to be able to hold session based off of the phase that we're in. We get a lot of questions of how can you be in program and not have school.
Right.
Based off of the reopening phase that
Uh-huh.
the state of California is, that allows for day camps, preschools, daycares to be open. So it allows us to function. And
Right.
then because we function under the California Department of Education with the flexibility, allowed us to do a program this way.
Cool.
And so once we had the okay, then it was, okay, now where do I go?
Right.
And so knowing that we couldn't go on site, we needed to secure locations that had a safe place for the kids
Right.
to go. We needed classrooms, we needed green space, we needed a kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thought was that's preschools, Sunday schools, and things like that.
Right.
And so I actually pulled a list of every church in Visalia, and one day I called 22 schools
Right.
and just said, do you have any space for me?
Yeah.
And we were very fortunate. There were a lot that stepped up and said, what can we do? How can we help?
Yeah.
And because of our protocols, we had to walk through every facility to make sure that all the protocols were in place. Every class only has 10 students with one adult.
And that's great. And I know church, not to cut you off, Dr. Pinto, but I know that's kind of a question that
Right.
people have is, well, how can we have kids in the building, but we can't be in the building? And so if you could expand on that, kind of what you're doing and how that looks, it's different than what like a normal Sunday morning would look at
Right.
a church or anything like
Right.
that. Yeah, if you could tell us some more about that, that'd
it's
be great.
it's different than even our normal after-school program.
Right.
So every class only has 10 students.
Okay.
We've worked very closely with Tulare County Health and Human Services.
Mm-hmm.
And so every classroom has 10 students, no more than 10, one teacher at a time. Every child is 6 feet apart. 3rd grade and up are required to wear masks.
Mhm.
All of my staff have masks, gloves, gowns,
Right.
face shields, any PPE that they require. We alternate. We don't intermingle any students.
Uh-huh.
So we alternate them going to the bathroom. We alternate them going outside.
Right.
There is one location for drop off. There is one location for pickup.
And they eat in the classroom that they're
They
in,
eat
correct?
in the classroom. Lunches are served individually to every student. They eat in the classroom. And then my staff cleans everything up. They disinfect before the kids get there. They disinfect after they
Right.
eat. And then they disinfect when they leave.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we also, I lost my train of thought of what I was going to say. And they also don't share. They don't share any devices. Every
Uh-huh.
child has their own Chromebook that has been issued from Visalia Unified. And then they don't share crayons, markers, scissors, rulers, anything like that. Every child has their own box
Okay.
and bags of supplies that's marked with their names. They only use that, and they don't share.
Right.
And so we've tried to put all the protocols in place as we hand sanitizer everywhere.
Right, yeah.
We've actually written into the schedule their hand washing break,
Mm-hmm.
and so it looks a little different, but we try to keep it as safe and as clean as we possibly can. As I said, we've worked very closely with Health and Human Services to ensure that all
Right.
of that is in place.
Yeah.
And so far, knock on wood, we've not had any instances of COVID-19 breakouts at any of our sites.
Good.
So some have caught it off campus
Right.
and not come in, but luckily nobody, we're blessed that nobody has caught it
Yeah.
here.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we continue to do that.
Yeah, and you kind of talked about this already. You talked about just what a blessing it's been for churches and other places with the space to step in and help these kids. And so if you could maybe tell us, I know you said you're going to visit with some of the people here today, some of your staff. I know you're in contact with them. Maybe tell us some things that you're hearing from the staff. I know us on staff, we love getting to interact with the Pro Youth staff. They've been so great to just thank us and really appreciate the building. So if you could just, if you were talking to our members, and what is it you would say to them about our space and how we've been able to work together during this unprecedented, I know we're all tired of hearing that word, unprecedented time.
Right. Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you. Thank you for stepping up and joining us in servicing our community. I mean, our students, our families, our community needs us now.
Right.
And so this is the time to, step up and do more than we did before. It's a beautiful facility. It's very conducive to what we need to do, keep them safe in their classrooms, space to be able to move, from, inside and outside to bathroom and back and forth. So I just want to have a sincere thank you for joining us in this. As I said before, this is not ideal. This is not the way we want to do program, but it is the best that we can do in a difficult situation.
Yeah.
But I mean, the staff here have been nothing but accommodating to us. We work very collaboratively together. It just takes a call from your staff to us to you, and we've been working hand in hand to be sure that the kids are safe and we run program like we should. Our commitment is to be able to help the students with their distance learning, because technically these kids are in school.
Yeah.
And so, internet connectivity has been great. And if there are any issues, we tend to, work them out together. Same thing, it's 106 degrees, so we make sure that,
Yes, ma'am.
AC works and they've got water and things like that. But we've been able to work as partners in making sure that we service our kids and our community. So, I mean, all I can say is a huge thank you, because we know that our families and our kids need us now, and so it's nice to have a partner in that, so that it doesn't feel like we're towing this row alone.
Right.
It's nice to know that we've got somebody working side by side with us to be sure that we can do what we know we need to do.
Yeah.
Our families need us.
Absolutely. Love kids well and serve our community. And so, Dr. Pinto, if someone's wanting to just learn some more information about Pro Youth and the program, how can they get that information? You can give us some direction on that.
Right. There's a couple of things you can do. You can go to our website at www.proyouthexpandedlearning.org.
Okay.
There is a day camp tab on there that actually will give you some information, locations and things like that. And there's also an application that you can submit there.
Oh, cool.
Unfortunately, we are full with a waiting list. However, we are in search of more locations to be able to hopefully alleviate some of that waiting list and prepare for when kids go back. We're hoping that, we're back in the spring at some type of hybrid model.
Right.
But even knowing that, we know that we're still going to be needed to be able to serve our kids and our families. And so we're preparing for that. Also, too, you can call me. My number is 559-972-0390. That goes directly to my Pro Youth cell phone. I always answer the phone, or I at least, we'll get back to you if I don't.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
If I don't. But, I mean, we want to be able to service our community as best as we can. And so if we can do that, please call us and contact us, and we'll see what we can do. As I said, there's a big need.
Right.
And so far there are those that are waiting, and we're hoping that as we continue to grow. Right now we're at 9 sites total. Mm-hmm. We're anticipating that we have another one coming on, and probably Ivanhoe. We're looking at some of our rural sites where those students don't have the availability of coming in transportation wise, and connectivity is an issue. Mm-hmm. And so that will allow us to be able to do something there and service our rural areas. But we probably will need at least 1, maybe 2 more sites in town to be able to accommodate those that, 1, now are waiting, and 2, that we will probably get when school actually does go back in person.
Right.
So
absolutely.
It's just kind of be ready, trying to stay ahead of the game.
Yes, ma'am.
So.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Dr. Pinto, thank you so much for joining us today. Church, please make sure to continue to just pray for our Pro Youth kids, and like Dr. Pinto said, there's all sorts of ways we can get involved. And I'll say this, as a member of the staff, I'm so glad to be able to sit here and hear all the good things that are happening in the midst of a really trying time. So thank you guys so much, and we will see you later. Thank you so much, Dr. Pinto.
Thank you so much.